Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and today's video is about power imbalances in relationships. Before I get to that, I want to explain the gameplay really quickly. It was an idea for a challenge series that my friend Onslaught was going to do, but decided not to. In a nutshell, we could only use old school weapons, things like crossbows and knives, things that weren't modern day, unless you pick them up off the ground. So it's not going to be a gigantic score because it's hard to do well with that skill set. But anyway, power imbalances in relationships. So the first thing I want to do is define what I mean by this power imbalance and relationship, I suppose, too. I'm not necessarily talking about a romantic relationship or a friendship. It can be either one of those. And a power imbalance is when one of them is sort of in charge of this relationship and the other one is the hanger-on. The other one is lucky just to be there, and that's a bad thing. It usually happens with younger people. I think when you get older, you're like, just not interested in that crap. What, you start to have more of a value for your sense of self, and if someone thinks that you're lucky just to hang out with them, then you probably don't have any interest in that person. Like, it's an interesting dynamic, right? And you see it at work a lot. Someone comes in and they're used to being like the coolest kid, and by virtue of thinking that you're the cool kid, you're suddenly like semi ostracized and people don't even like you. And that's just the nature of of adult relationships. It's like, if you can't get along with people in a normal way, then people don't even want to get along with you at all. But back on topic, kids do this a lot. Kids in a friendship, there can be a power imbalance because one of them's way cooler than the other, right? So you're the cool kid, this other guy is your lackey somehow, and they put up with your crap just because they don't want to be excluded from your group if they started to exert themselves. And if you're in a spot like that, then you need to start to recognize your own worth. That's the deal. It can be easy to not do that, right? It can be easy to think that you're not worth anything. This guy's the cool kid. But by doing that, you make yourself worth less. And I wish that I could, press this into the minds of young people. If you start to think that you're not worthy or that you don't belong, then you're not worthy and you don't belong. That's the deal. In a romantic relationship, if you're older, this stuff can be caused by a money imbalance. Like you see these, whatever. Maybe you're dating an actor or a billionaire or something like that. Then there's a power imbalance in the relationship, and it's always going to have this sort of thing hanging over it. At any age, it can be caused by either a position of power, you're dating your coach, or it could be caused by one who's, dramatically better looking than the other. There are a lot of beautiful women who treat people poorly because they can. Because, when you're a beautiful woman like that, people will put up with anything from you. And when you're that other guy in the relationship, you need to recognize, like, listen, woman, you and I are either going to get along properly or we're not going to get along at all. My father was friends with this guy named Dick, and Dick was a really nice guy. And Dick was a really wealthy guy. My father does pretty well too. But Dick, he was worth like $100 million, right? So when I say wealthy, I don't mean like pretty wealthy. Like he was freaking stacked with money. And he's dead now. But there was this time where Dick was going to pay for the dinner or something, like with my dad. My dad was like, no, we'll split it. We're good. And he's like, no, I got it, Stan. You don't have to worry. And my father did something that really made an impression on me. He's like, Dick, look, we're friends. That's the deal. If you start paying for all my stuff, then all of a sudden we're not equals in this relationship. If you start, covering my expenses, then things are going to be weird. And like I'm going to be somehow, not your peer in this thing. And that's not how it works. If we're actual friends, then I pay for me and you pay for you. And then we never owe each other anything, and we can just get along and enjoy each other for who they are and not necessarily, what they can do. And that burned into my head. And this was like semi recently, like 2 or 3 years ago. And it was really kind of cool to see. It was, or, learn about. It was like, yeah, that was a certain, Papa Stan wisdom there, that he was just like, look, I don't want your charity. Not that, look, I think everyone at some level finds that it's kind of nice to have someone pay for things for you, but it was like, it is not worth the potential tax that it will have on our relationship. Therefore, just keep it, buddy. I don't want it. And that was an awesome thing to see. And so if you're that, like, let's say that you're putting up with crap from your friends, you need to draw the line and say, look, I am a full person with full value, and I am awesome. And if you can't recognize that, then this thing's not going to work. If they're actually looking for someone to be subservient to them, to be, just at their beck and call, and to put up with crap from them because they, feel like you have no choice but to put up with it, then that's not the relationship that you want to be in anyway. This is how toxic friends happen. I've done other videos about toxic friends before, where, one person like teases or abuses the other in an unhealthy way. If you're in that relationship, often it's because you're like, man, if I didn't have this relationship, then I would be lost, adrift in, in my lifeboat of social dynamics, and I wouldn't be able to, get along without this toxic friend. And yes, she abuses me or he abuses me, and I have to put up with all kinds of crap all the time, but it's better than loneliness. And I'm telling you, you need to either stand up for yourself in this relationship and recognize your own value, or find someone who's more interested in a balanced relationship. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click like. I always appreciate that. You can subscribe in the top right corner. I talk about video games. I talk about life. I talk about COD. I talk about Borderlands. I talk about lots of stuff. And hopefully people like it. Have a good day.